The meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty for all.
Justice for all. Mr. Kenna, roll call, please.
President McCarthy,
Present.
Dr. Carpenter,
Present.
Mr. Forbeck,
Present.
Ms. Lalabo,
Present.
Mr. Matlin,
Present.
Ms. Provenza,
Present.
Mr. Suchovich,
Present.
Mayor Recupero.
Present.
I am also present.
Okay, before we get started, I would like to take a moment of silence for the Tree of Life victims 2 years ago today. Okay, Mr. Kenna, let's proceed. Thank you.
We don't have any registered comments for the evening, so we would just need to go to public comments.
Okay,
And
well, we can do that at the end of the meeting.
that's fine.
Okay, you have any reports?
So we have the meeting minutes from the regular business meeting at the beginning of October that would need to be passed. They were distributed by Marcia earlier this month.
I'll make a motion to accept them.
There's a
Second.
motion on the floor by Mr. Suchovich. There's second by Ms. Provenza. Are there any questions? All those in favor of passing, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? No noes.
All right.
Motion passed.
The meeting minutes will be posted on the website, those meeting minutes, just as a reminder. There's not that many people here, but for anybody that would be watching on YouTube or whatever, we will pass, once we pass the meeting minutes, I'm going to post them on the website. So this meeting's minutes won't go on the website until after the next meeting. Once they're approved by council, then they go live. So the regular business meeting minutes will go live tonight, and so on. The only other things, I had two other things just wanted to bring up. First of all, the budget, we're working on it. Mr. Matlin sent me some stuff for the Public Works Department, which was great. I'm still waiting on some stuff from from Parks and Rec, from the Streets Department, from AJ, and from the Chief. I talked to Nancy today. Once I have those wish list items, I can fill them into what I have started. And then I think we're going to have a committee meeting with the Finance Committee just to kind of go over the very first draft. I'm hoping to have a draft ready to go for the November meeting so that we can go through it together and come up with any changes or add-ons or with takeaways and things like that, so that we can hopefully maintain the schedule, which would be that we would have something to vote on for next workshop meeting to advertise, and then vote to make final in December for the before the end of the year. So there's that. And then other than that, I just want to let you know I've been working with Matt on a few things. One of the things is the parking lines on North Avenue. He had me order a couple other gallons of paint, a couple different types of paint that we're going to try, so that by the time, I guess the idea would be that over the winter, we're going to try 3 different types of paint, see what holds up. And then come spring, whatever holds up the best, if any of them, we'll go ahead and paint the parking lines on the brick.
Hey, Jerry,
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that in Aspinwall, they have a lot of brick streets and they have lines on all their brick streets. I don't know if you know anybody in Aspinwall to ask about what kind they used over there.
I don't, but I'll mention it to Matt. Maybe Senate works with Aspinwall as well. I don't know. If not, we can always call him.
I know. I mean, I don't know him real well, but the representative from Aspinwall on our COG. We have a COG meeting tomorrow night, so I could
Hmm.
Yeah.
try to get in touch
I'm gonna
with
ask
him. Of course, if Matt has the contact too, that's fine. But
Well, check with your guy, and then I'm supposed to talk to Matt tomorrow about moving around some liquid fuels money and like that. So, so I'll talk to him as well. But if you want to talk to your contact at the COG, that would be good.
yeah, I'll do that.
Thanks, David.
I think that's all I have for right now. If anything else comes in my head, then I can talk about it during the meeting. So, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Matlin.
What about the mayor?
I'm sorry. Mayor.
I just have two quick things. The Halloween parade with the chamber has been canceled. But we are going to go ahead with Halloween on Saturday, October 31st from 6 to 8. I'll have officers on duty, 2 officers on. They'll both be in 2 different zones, one patrolling from Brunot up and the other one from the Boulevard down. So we're going to divide that into town. But Halloween will be from 6 to 8, and Curtis is going to put it on the alert that we have through the borough also. The Christmas parade, I found out Tuesday morning, was canceled. I got a phone call that the Oakmont board canceled their the parade. Then I got a call from Ray Rogers. He's the chairman of the parade, and he had asked if we wanted to have the parade. They had 20 groups and floats coming already, but they had to cancel them. Well, they weren't going to cancel them until they seen what Verona was going to do. I had a chamber meeting that night, and we discussed it, and we felt it would be in best interest also to cancel it. So the Christmas parade is canceled the week before Thanksgiving, the way they've always had it. I'm going to ask the fire chief. I believe it's the 19th or the 20th, Saturday or Sunday before Christmas. Could we get a truck like we did for the Easter Bunny and drive Santa Claus around town, every street in Verona, if it's possible?
During the day?
Yeah, during the day. It's a Saturday. It's either Saturday or Sunday. We could work the details out. We still got to,
Probably,
time.
yeah. I don't see
Yeah,
a
for the
problem.
kids. I didn't think so. I wanted to ask you in front of the board, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have Santa Claus riding back the truck like we did for the Easter Bunny, and probably throw some candy out or something. I want to do something for the kids and, for the town. It took us about 3 hours, I believe, last time with the Easter Bunny. We hit every road in Verona. So we're going to do that. And Ray, I'll get with you. We still have time to, put it together, put it together.
Yep, sounds good. No problem.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys are always there when we need you, and I thank you for that.
No
That's
problem.
all I have at this
problem.
time.
Dave, which weekend are you looking at for that? Did you say?
I believe it's the 19th or 18th, 19th, or 19th and 20th. Let me look real quick. Let's see.
Of
December?
It would be, December.
Okay.
It would be,
21st or 22nd?
actually, it would be
Or what? I'm sorry. 19th or 20th?
no, 19th or 20th. Yeah, Christmas is on Friday. Christmas Eve is Thursday, the 24th. So it'll be either Saturday or Sunday, the 19th or the 20th. The week before Christmas. That's Saturday or Sunday. Probably
Okay.
around 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock or something like that. But there'll be more details in the next, by the next, by the end of November, there'll be more details
Mhm.
when we put it together.
Yeah,
No
that sounds
problem.
good.
All right, that's all I have.
Thanks, David. I have nothing at this time. Mr. Matlin.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only item I had on the agenda was the tree pruning spec. I'd put that out. I put it out last week, and then today I sent out a slight revision. We're just adding requirement for workers to be certified if they're working within 10 feet of a power line. So Matt agreed with that, and Matt's working on putting together the bid form, and he's going to work with Jerry to put that out. So everyone should have had a chance to review it. I don't think there's any more comments. So I'd like to make a motion to advertise the bid spec for tree pruning services around the borough.
All right, there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Matland for the tree pruning bids to go out.
I'll second that.
Second.
Second by Mr. Forback. Are there any questions? No questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? No noes. Motion passed. Thanks, David. You did a nice job on that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. I'll work with Matt tomorrow and we'll start getting that going. He had mentioned to me about possibly setting up a pre-bid meeting for anybody that might be interested so that all the contractors get on the same page, make sure they're all bidding apples to apples. But I'll work with him and keep you in the loop on anything we do with that.
Yeah, thanks. That sounds good. I saw Matt's email earlier today. So
Who's gonna pick what branches and everything that gets cut?
we were kind of leaving it up to the contractor a little bit, but I think that's what Jerry's talking about, that Matt suggested that we have a pre-quote or pre-bid meeting to go over it.
Yeah,
Just to make sure that our expectations are clear and kind of discuss what trees, what we expect them to do. Just make sure.
they'll go
everybody gets on
crazy,
the same
and
page.
it's not cheap to get a tree cutter in there.
Yeah.
In the past, what we did was, for example, from this area to this area along Wildwood, straight up along the street line, things like that we would give out to them and let them know exactly what we wanted done in each section so that they all had the same thing and it didn't go beyond that, and that they would know exactly what we anticipate them to do. So.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Yeah, and we basically said we want them to trim on Wildwood at least, so that it doesn't inhibit the right of way. So, so that it's not in the way of trucks and stuff. So I agree, Ray. We don't want them going hog wild
Right,
back up the hillside. We really just want to make sure there's a clear path that isn't going to damage vehicles, or vehicles are going to damage the trees. So
right.
that's all.
Very good, thanks, Dave.
Yep.
I think, though, that we also want to have them do enough so that we don't have to have them come back in another year or two, like that it'll last for several years.
I
Is
think the
that?
last time Wildwood was done was probably 4 years ago.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that we called for them to have a certified arborist on staff so that, it's not just someone that's just going to hack and whack whatever. It's someone that's doing it the right way so that it's going to be healthy for the tree, and it's not excessive, and it's not, not going to, cause damage to property or vehicles.
Right.
okay.
So the only other thing I was going to ask, Jerry, is do you have an update on a while back we talked about getting a new trash can down by the docks. I know that there was one put up by the stairs going up to High Street, but I don't know if we were looking to get a matching can.
Yeah, that was the intention. I'll follow up with AJ tomorrow. I know that they were able to, that one up by High Street was actually the one that got hit by a car. They were able to fix it.
Oh, okay.
So we were trying to figure out whether they were going to be able to save that one before we ordered two, because they're expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But let me follow up with him and see if they're ordered and what we're doing with that. So I'll talk to him and I'll follow up with you.
Okay, thanks. That's all I have.
Question,
Thank you.
Dave. Were we also going to have a trash can in Riverbank Park at the top of the steps? And I think someone, maybe Dan, went out and bought a couple of temporary trash cans from Ace, and then I don't know what, they were there and then they weren't there, and Then there's a sign about littering that was there and now it's not there. I'm not 100% sure of all of the facts, but is there some reason they didn't want to use those Ace garbage cans at the docks and at Riverbank?
Originally, I think there was just the one that was by the steps at Riverbank, and it fell down the steps and it was not laying down by the river. From what I understand, that's why it ended up in the garage. But
Well, it was,
I'll
yeah,
talk to them
it
about
was tied down.
Okay, but it was down by the river when he got it, so he
Yes,
didn't untie it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before Dan put that trash can up, you know, I think Jerry and Matt and I had discussed ordering the new permanent ones, and so I think the idea would be to get, if we're going to put up trash cans, they should be permanent ones and not, you know, that are solid, that are not going to blow away, they're not going to get easily stolen or removed. So I think that was fine for a temporary thing, but I don't know if we need one at the top of the steps, because there's one right, I mean, there's one like 20 feet away by the basketball court.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were ordering. I didn't think we were ordering one for Riverbank. I
No,
thought
the
it was
ones
by the
we
docks
talked
at
about
High Street.
ordering, we talked about ordering for the steps by High Street and the docks, because we felt that those really needed it.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there's already a trash can pretty prominently placed by the basketball courts. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, I guess the problem is if you go over to Riverbank and you look down those steps at the edge of the river, which the river is very low this year, so there's like a little beach down there, and it is completely filled with trash. So the idea, I think, was to get a temporary trash can there until we figured out what to do. And it was very securely tied to the pole at the top of the steps. I don't know, because I don't know, people don't want to go over to the other trash can. I don't know, they were trying to think of something. And then there was also supposed to be a no littering sign somewhere around there.
Yeah, I got pictures of that. Trish sent me pictures of that. I'm not really sure what happened with that no littering sign. I have to talk to AJ. I just saw that email today. I just didn't get a chance to touch base with AJ.
Okay.
So.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Dr. Carpenter.
Okay, thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
President. So on the agenda here, I wrote correction from the last meeting, and I just wanted to clarify for whoever's listening now and whoever will be listening in the future. I think at the last meeting, I suggested something about using money from the Parks and Rec account. That's a separate account from the general account for the request that the community group planning committee for the 150th had made. In my mind, I was kind of confusing Parks and Rec and community group, thinking that the 150th is happening in the park. And that was a mistake on my part. I just wanted to clarify that that is Parks and Rec money, not community group money, unless Parks and Rec decided that they wanted to donate some of that money toward the 150th, but that conversation had not happened. So just wanted to make that correction. The other thing I want to do is update you all from the ordinance committee meeting that we had yesterday. And the main aspects that I want to touch on is mostly about the ordinances that are coming up. We are almost done with some revisions on the animal control ordinance regarding chickens and ducks and rabbits. So like I had said before, there will be restrictions and guidelines to having them here in town. So we're working on that, and that's almost done. The short-term rental, we're just waiting until the other ones are completed. In the meantime, we have some preliminary wording for the alarm, false alarm things for the fire and the police. So it may be that we can get that together in time to advertise the other two plus that one at the same time. In addition, we now will put together, which I don't think should be too hard, the stop sign ordinance for some additional stop signs that are being placed in the borough, as well as putting the stop sign at Penn Street Extension and Sheridan on the books as well, so that they'll be enforceable. So we could actually end up having 4 ordinances being advertised at once, which would save us, I think, some money, from what I understand how the process works. So sometimes there's a silver lining to certain things. So there was a delay on the animal ordinance, but you know, it could work out for the best. So I'll be sending out the revised animal control ordinance probably tomorrow or the next day. And then you guys can look at it and make any comments you might have about it. And then I'll probably be making a motion at the November business meeting for hopefully for advertising all 4 of those. And there was several other things that we discussed, but nothing of great impact on the community for right now. So unless you guys have any questions for me, I am good.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Forback.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few things. One, I sent around the VOP resolution. That is a resolution, the VOP trail group that Dave Matlin and Jerry, we're all still part of. We're ready to move on to the next section of development in the trail, and that's actually an engineering design. And it would be through Verona into Oakmont, so to connect the community. We would like to go for they would like to go for another Active Allegheny grant. As part of the Active Allegheny grant, we would need to pass a resolution in all the communities to allow us to go forward with that grant. It is a $50,000 grant that has no match from any of the communities. It's actually just $50,000 clear and free that we're going to be partaking in. So the resolutions here, our solicitor Craig has already looked at it. He's okay with it, but what is missing is the attachment of our actual grant application that David and everybody are working on. So I don't know whether we want to be able to pass this or wait. We can do it at the next meeting. But it's just so folks, if there's any questions on that.
When does it need to be passed so that we don't lose the grant money?
So we have to submit it, but we have time. We can submit before the end of November, so we can do it at the business meeting.
So yeah, that will give you ample time.
Yeah.
Doing
Dave, do you
it at the
agree?
regular business meeting.
Yeah, the deadline I believe is November 30th for the grant application, but I think, Mike, didn't you confirm that we could actually submit the since there was, you know, it was going to be difficult to get all 4 municipalities to pass resolutions with different times of the month that they meet. So didn't they say we could submit the application with the resolutions pending? Or
Yeah, we could submit it. We could submit it even with one resolution, or
okay.
with pending, say that they actually are going to be coming in. So yes, we can.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm okay with waiting for the next business meeting if we need to.
All right.
What is that? November 10th, right?
Yes.
So I think that would give us time if we have everything ready to go to submit it right after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I would like the folks to see the actual grant application too.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that we could, you know, weren't going to miss something for you.
Appreciate it. And it's no match for money, so it's a nice deal. The second thing is on the paper recycling. I brought this up at the last meeting. And we were going to possibly have discussions at this one to look at Stanson paper processing to replace the rural oak paper recycling. As I said, they're local. They're from Springdale. They offer bins free. They do a weekly pickup, so shouldn't be any mess like what we've experienced. So I'd like to have maybe Jerry reach out to them and see what is needed for them to replace our paper recycling we have now.
If it keeps it cleaner, I'm for it.
Okay.
Okay.
I think if they're going to do a weekly collection, and plus they're local, they don't have as many bins. They've got endorsed from several people. I've reached out to them, so from the state and everything. So I think they'd be good.
Okay.
I know some of the guys that do work there, and one owner too, and they are pretty good guys from what I can tell.
Okay.
Okay.
If you find they're not doing their job, you get rid of them and find someone else.
Right. And plus, they will give you a stipend if anything above market price, the money will go back to Verona. So we haven't seen that in years. So. That's
Okay.
good.
Sounds good.
Okay. The third item was the CARES reimbursement. I was working with Jerry. Darla had mentioned that for Verona to actually submit a reimbursement for police salaries from March 1st through end of August. And Jerry, you did submit that, correct?
Yep.
Have you heard anything back from that yet?
No.
Okay.
I got an email confirming that it was accepted, processed, but I've not heard anything back from them at all besides that.
So the county was telling me, it was really persuading us to put this reimbursement in because we could get up to $60,000 for our police, and I think that's fantastic. Why not? So thank you for putting that in.
Yep.
On the comp plan, our committee will be having a meeting on Monday, a virtual meeting, and we will have the environmental planning and design folks, consultants who actually did the feasibility study for the VOP group. They also did the comprehensive plan for Oakmont. So the group thought it would be a good idea to have several professional people come in who actually are doing the work so that we can talk to them. And maybe in the near future, they can be part of the group that could actually do some of the plans. So that it's going to be a good educational Zoom meeting we're going to have on Monday. One item that's not on the my agenda is actually that we did get an application for a part-time police officer. So we will be interviewing that person tomorrow. And hopefully we'll be able to add another person to our ranks. So that's really, really good news.
Yes, it is.
And-
Thank you.
Yes. And last thing, vote. Everybody don't forget vote. Thank you.
Absolutely. And
That's
that's
it.
it?
Yep.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Pardon me, Pat. I'm so sorry, but I did forget to say one thing before you start, Ray, in my report. The other thing that we're looking into is companies that do zoning ordinance revisions. And Craig sent me a couple of companies that do that. And I might work together with Mike on the comp plan about weaving that in somehow. It's in the preliminary stages, but I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, that's a good point. I'm thinking when we talk about budget, we should probably look at some money for developing this plan too. So thank you.
Yes.
I'm done.
Nancy, there might be grants available for that too, because I know there's grants available for the comprehensive plan that Mike and I looked at.
Great.
We'll talk about it if
Okay, thank
you
you.
need help looking for it.
All right,
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Suchovich.
Talk to Mr. Kenna. We're waiting for wish lists, things like that. And like he said earlier, we want to sit down as a committee and just go over everything and get the budget ready to go. I know there's going to be some questions with wish lists and stuff like that. But we'll just have to whittle through it, you know? Just gotta try to balance the budget without raising taxes. So see what happens. Other than that, there's not much. We're just working on trying to get the budget balanced.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Albo.
Thank you. With the budget, Parks and Rec is working on theirs, and do we submit it into you, Ray, or to you, Jerry? Where would you like us?
Either or, but probably Jerry. Jerry, once Jerry gets it, he can put it in his line items and go from there. Then we'll sit down and go line item to line item, see where we stand with stuff.
Okay, thank you. I know one of the items that the Parks and Rec was hoping to do this year was get a bocce court going. I don't know if we'll get it in time for this year, but that item number may go into the budget for next year as well. I don't know if that can carry over since we were granted so much for the bocce court. We'll look at that down the road. One of the issues is down at Riverbank Park is with parking on Arch Street in front of the pickleball courts. I know in the spring we had talked about, they had asked if on street sweeping days, if they could park on the opposite side in front of the pickleball court during those couple hours when the street sweeper would come through the street to sweep. And they have a small sign apparently on the gate that says that they can do that. Although we never put up signs to say that they could park on that side. We just this past week we had an issue. Somebody was parking on that side of the street during street sweeping, and the police ended up, getting called on it, and it became an issue. So I was talking to the chief a little bit on it. I know I spoke with you, Michael, a little bit on it too. And I know the chief feels if the emergency vehicle needs to get through there and there's street sweeping and there's a car there, it might just be too much. It's a safety issue. So it was recommended that maybe they can just park around the corner, park on another street on the, find a parking. So I'm not sure, that's agreeable with everybody here, or do we want to grant them that? Yes, Dave?
I have to agree with the chief. I don't want them parking on the side of the playground, even for 1 day a week, because in the summertime, kids are playing there. And kids, they run out onto the street, to go home and what have you. And if there's cars there, it's pretty easy to get hit by a car because, the cars are blocking the view. Those people can walk around the block and park elsewhere. So I'm not going to, it's up to the board, but I'm going to tag the people if the board decides to let them park on that side. It's not right. I don't want them parked on that side. For 1 day a week, they could park elsewhere.
It's a couple hours, 1 day a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. They could, they're getting exercise. They could get exercise walking too. And that's how I feel. The safety of the kids in the town is more important than people playing pickleball.
I feel that way too. Do we need to pass something on
No,
that?
you could just leave it the way it is. Just say, no, we're not doing it. We're not changing it. You don't need to vote on anything. That's my opinion.
Thank you. I'm thinking too, I was talking with Mike too, just like a little suggestion, maybe down the road, with the salt shed really not being there, maybe eventually could we make a little parking lot there for the parks or something like that at one point? We can look at that down the road and see, if that space is available for something like that, or what we need to do in the meantime. But
can I just chime in here, Janet? I think that riverfront property probably would want to be used for something other than a parking lot. But honestly, I walk around this area every day, and there's plenty of parking on Fairview. There's plenty of parking on Arch just beyond Fairview. It's not that far away. The blocks are very small. So I mean, I see where you're going, trying to get creative, and maybe while they're trying to figure out what they're doing, people can park over there. But I think eventually, you know, that area of land right on the riverfront will either be an extension of the park or will be developed into some kind of housing. So I wouldn't want to make it into a parking lot permanently.
But I think just be extension of the park, but there, it would be contaminated material there too, and you're gonna have to work work around that too in the brownfields of that, because that salt definitely contaminate the soil.
Also, on Saturday, the 31st, pickleball they are having a tournament, and they will be down there. They have rented a porta-john for the day too for that tournament, so they'll be there from the time the pickleball court will open till late in the afternoon, I guess, until dark. But just so you know, there'll be a lot of activity going on down that way on Saturday.
I have a question about that as well, Janet. I just saw that email today. And I don't know how the word gets out. I'm just concerned that, you know, do people in Verona, I mean, what if somebody from Verona wanted to play pickleball? There's 4 courts, and they didn't want to be part of the tournament because the tournament is only for highly skilled people who are playing.
There is a
I don't-
permit being processed now for that day.
What, pardon me? What's that?
They are putting an application in for the permit.
Okay, all right. That's what I was wondering, whether they were, you know, doing something to make sure that
Right.
that it's fair. But if they're getting a permit, then that seems better to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I believe that's all I have. Thank you.
Janet,
Yes.
were they having a food truck there on Saturday as well?
No, they're not doing a food truck. They are going to do their own
Okay.
little session, but like put up a little table, snacks and stuff
Okay.
like that, but no food truck. They did talk about it, but
Okay,
they actually,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Janet,
Yes.
Janet, also, make sure they obey the parking rules down there because they will be tagged. No one parked, on both sides of the street.
Hopefully they'll follow that or, tag them. I'll let Jeff know, but they should know.
Mhm. All
Okay.
right. And the dinner is all set?
The dinner's all set. Yes, thank you everybody for your contribution. If you can come 3:30 the earliest, 3:45, we'll get everything lined up and go in. Shirley will be in there cooking the macaronis. Somebody will be picking up the chicken, and we'll pack them up, and we'll have food runners to drop them off as people pull up and say how many they need. But it's been a great success. Thank you everybody for your contribution.
What's the hours for that again?
4 to 6 is
4
when
to
we
6.
start picking up.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lobo. Ms. Provenza.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I will start with the newsletter. We're currently working on it now, and we're taking ads and articles. And this would be for the October, November, and December issue of the newsletter. And if you wish to do an ad or an article, we will need it no later than Monday, November the 30th. We're really trying to get this done early because the holidays are coming up. And usually Rogers and DeTurk, they take time off. So we'd like to get everything in, and the sooner the better. And articles, they can be sent to our editor, Donald Worf, and his email address is veronanewsroom@gmail.com. And I can be reached at 412-828-9542. And I had on my notes here also about the community dinner. Janet had already mentioned it, but just a reminder, it will be tomorrow evening at the Verona Methodist Church from 4 to 6. And it is going to be hosted by our council members. And I would like to thank Shirley and all her lady friends that help. This is a wonderful thing for the community. And Shirley and your girls are very greatly appreciated. Thank you again. Also, farmers market. That's this Thursday, October 29th, and this will be the last farmers market for this year. And if anybody has any of the farmers market vouchers or coupons, this is the opportunity for you folks to use them because they will not be good after the end of November. So you may want to come down and get your produce. Now, Schramm's Farm will continue to come, even though we will be through with the farmers market. They will be here for 3 Thursdays in November, November the 5th, the 12th, and November 19th. So I extend many thanks to Stephanie. She did a great job this year. We had a lot of favorable reports on the market. So I say thanks to Stephanie for doing a very good job. Also, Historical Society, all meetings are still canceled until further notice. And if you want any other information, you can go to veronahistory.org. If there's anything coming up, it would certainly be on there. And we are looking forward next year to a good year, planning on some good speakers, some good field trips. So hopefully we will be able to do that. Chamber of Commerce, I have some information here. The Riverview Education Foundation will be judging pumpkins, and that'll be this Thursday at 5 o'clock. So kids, bring your pumpkins, and the winners will be announced at 5:30. Also, as Mayor David mentioned, there will be no parade. So in lieu of the Halloween parade, Chamber of Commerce we're going to be handing out treat bags at the farmers market. And that'll be this Thursday, the 29th, from 2 to 6 p.m. Also, there will be tree ornaments that will be given out at the farmers market also this Thursday, and that again will be from 2 to 6. The ornaments can be decorated and they can be returned to the Borough Building. We are going to have boxes in the foyer of the Borough Building for depositing these ornaments. And the ornaments must be returned to the Borough Building no later than Friday, November the 20th. And the winners will be announced on Sunday, November 22nd. And also, if you can't make it to the farmers market this Thursday to pick up your ornament, you can also get it at Edda's Doggy Daycare Center. And Stephanie will be available on Mondays and Fridays from 2 to 6 p.m. to pick up your ornaments. And the address at Edda's is 728 Allegheny River Boulevard, and her telephone number is 412-828-8300. And I think that is all I have. Let me double check here. And in closing, I would just say next Tuesday, a week from today, November 3rd, is Election Day. Please, please vote. Every vote counts. It's important to vote. And also, whenever these functions are going to be done at the farmers market, we are asking, please wear a mask and please social distance. That is it, Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Halbo.
I'd just like to mention at the farmers market the next couple weeks, the Boy Scouts are also doing a food drive there too. So if anybody comes through, you can bring canned goods, and they are doing a food drive collection.
Okay, thank you.
Pat, one other thing too.
Okay.
Just to bring to everyone's attention, the 150th T-shirts are being sold at the farmers market and at Giant Eagle. They're $15, and also we have ornaments now that have the logo for the 150th that are being sold, I believe, at the farmers market, and I think also at Giant Eagle as well. I don't know where they're putting them out for people to see, but in the Giant Eagle, but I'm pretty sure they're being sold there as well. And I think they're $6 and 2 for $10. We have them purple and gold with the logo. They're very nice. So hopefully people will buy some and support our fundraising efforts for the 150th celebration next year. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Pat,
you.
excuse me, may I just make one other comment?
Go ahead.
Thank you. When we did the primary election, we only had one precinct open, which was the Borough Building. That has changed. We will have all 3 of our election precincts open. The Borough Building, the United Presbyterian Church, and the Fire Hall. And of course, the hours are from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything from Alum?
There's nothing from ALOM right now, but we will have some things coming up.
Okay. Dave, you said there's a council of governments meeting tomorrow night?
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow night.
Okay. And there's no tax collection committee report. Okay. This time, we'll hear comments from the public. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
All right. First, we have Rhoda and Dawn. I'm not sure which one. Rhoda, Dawn?
Hello?
Hello?
We can't hear you guys.
They're probably muted.
They're
No,
not
they're not
though.
muted.
Let's
Let's
go.
go to the
with-
next one and we'll come back.
Yeah,
Okay. Next one's Vince Floda, I believe. It says Vince, so.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, Vince Floda, 323 Penn Street. I have 3 things I'm pretty concerned about. One is a couple meetings ago, we were asking about the garbage cans for Riverbank Park and the public dock, and we were told they were ordered. Then last meeting, we were told that they were going to be ordered. And now this meeting, it seems like nobody remembers any of that. But I'm sure if you look back in the meeting minutes, you can see that it was talked about in 2 meetings. That's very concerning to me that people were approving minutes and not looking at them. Another concern I have is you said that the pickleball is running a tournament this Saturday, and they just rented a porta potty to put in the park. Was that approved by anybody, or did they just go ahead and figure they're going to rent a porta potty and throw it in one of the parks without council approval and not having a permit yet, even though they should have had a permit and it should have been approved by council before this meeting? So that's all I have to say. It's very, very disappointing that all this is happening and nobody knows what's going on. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
I'm going to try Vincent or Rhoda and Dawn again.
Yeah, try them.
if it doesn't work, I'll do it.
You there?
Then I'm gonna have them talk through my phone, okay? Hold on a second. Yeah, can you,
Yes.
you have to turn off your sound on your computer. It's gonna echo.
Okay, now you can hear us. You can hear us now?
Can you guys hear them?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, right. Okay, my question is Rhoda Wharf, 636 Front Street in Verona. Did anyone go down to the docks to check out the repairs that need to be made and the garbage that's along the river?
Oh, yeah, Nancy, you were going to talk to Brian, right?
Yeah. hold on, let me move my speaker so that they can hear you guys better. Hold on. All right, say that again, Jerry.
Nancy, you were going to talk to Brian, right?
I was, and then I went out of town for 10 days, so I will definitely talk to him tomorrow about that.
Okay, good. I mean, it needs to be addressed, I think, before winter. Okay, I appreciate that because a lot of us use those dogs. Also, I don't know, I think it would be a wise idea to expand on our code enforcement department. We really don't have one established. There are so many properties that need to be addressed, and I know Mark feels overwhelmed, but on Union Street, School Street, Heron, First Street, really, there's properties that seriously need to be addressed. And it's not fair to the other people in the neighborhood that are taking care of their properties and paying taxes. And a lot of these properties are rentals. So we need to have those addressed, as far as I'm concerned, immediately. Also, and I'm hoping to ask I'm going to ask the same question at the next meeting, if anything has been done. Also, there is so much speeding on South Avenue between Crisfield, 3rd, and 4th. I mean, these young people that are flying, we're walking all the time, my sister and I, they are literally, physically flying through those stop signs. I know we don't have that much jurisdiction on 4th Street, but if you can put up a sign 15 miles per hour, at least we'll have some leverage. If the police would, come and maybe ride around up in the upper streets and maybe, hinder some of these people that are speeding so much. Because we have a lot of children up here. Also, if my suggestion is, when you were talking about the fire truck throwing out candy, I would appreciate, as a garbage picker-upper, not to have candy thrown out. And I would suggest putting things in bags and have stations of giving candy out in bags, because I get tired. I know picking up garbage, I know on Hilltop, throwing out candy would just create a lot of extra garbage that either I or some of the other members of the garbage picking group need to address. A correction for the newsletter. The newsletter for November 30th is January, February, and March. Anything information for those 3 months would be appreciated by November 30th. Okay? Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anybody else, Jerry?
That's it.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention, in response to the thing about the code enforcement, have talked to Mark a little bit and Keith, and they do feel overwhelmed. And I think that we're going to discuss the possibility of adding to the code enforcement, putting that into the budget. So that is being looked at.
Okay. Anything
I have
else?
2 things. Comments on the questions. The 2 people, Vince and Rhoda, says, Rhoda, I'll take care of that. I'll talk to the chief about the speeding up there. And Vince is right. The pickleball people should not be doing things on their own. They need approval from this board. It is not their court down there. It's the borough's court, the people's court. And they should not be making decisions of having tournaments without the borough knowing and getting a permit first, let alone putting a porta-john down there without the borough knowing. They need, anything they do in the future needs to come to the board a month before they decide to do it. I'm just giving my opinion for next year's the way it should be ran.
If I remember correctly, Janet, you did bring this up about a month and a half ago about the tournament, and they talked about having a possible food truck and getting a porta pot, and that they were going to get a permit and everything. This was discussed in front of all of council,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
They should have gotten the permit. They didn't get a permit. They should have. However, they did talk to us about the porta-john, and we thought that that was a better option to have them pay for a porta-john than have an issue with people trying to go to the bathroom down there. And so we thought that since they were paying the bill, that the Porta-John was a good call. But the permit, they should have gotten a permit.
Yeah, but
They're
they
on the process of
they
getting it.
did discuss this. And Janet, you did discuss this prior to this. They
Yeah.
should have gotten a permit earlier, but they did, and it
Right.
was brought up to all of council.
Yes. But they
Okay, I
are,
stand corrected then.
No, that's okay, Dave, but I do remember that.
A point of information or clarification then, is that something, though, that should have been brought up? I mean, I do vaguely remember the conversation, but I just am not clear whether we should have had a motion and passed a motion, or did we do that?
For what?
What's that?
For
To
what?
approve the,
To approve having the Porta-John in there? I don't know, maybe not. I'm just asking. I really am not sure.
I mean, I think
I don't
that sort of
believe
thing
that
could
we
go to
needed a
Jerry.
motion.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was just gonna say, I think that sort of thing could get submitted to Jerry or Marcia, and just so they have record of it. And if if Jerry thinks there's an issue, or that it needs a motion or council discussion, he can bring it up with council. But I also think I don't know if anyone from the pickleball group, how engaged they are with Parks and Rec Board. But I think if they're more engaged with the Parks and Rec Board about what they're planning to do and what they want to do, and Parks and Rec Board, they meet every other month, and they can, certainly help them figure out what things are appropriate or what might need further discussion with council and that sort of thing. It might just head off some of these issues with
Yeah.
causing
And
conflict.
And I'm trying to think about the conversation about the Porta-John. I think that it was brought up at a council meeting, but the decision was made. I made the decision. I got a phone call about it. I believe actually Janet reached out to me about it. The question was, do they need a permit in order to have a Porta-John, and how that process worked. I had a conversation about it with Mark and with the chief. And so if council would have wanted to be more involved in that decision, I apologize, but I feel like allowing them to pay for a Porta-John so that the people can use the restroom and not go to the restroom in the grass was kind of a necessary thing for us to do.
and I know with the pickleball thing growing this past summer and more weekend, there is a representative, Jeff Pepper, is going to be coming to the December meeting or speaking at the December meeting with some of his things too. Like they raised the money, through the GoFundMe. They still have funds where they would like to spend, but I had him put everything on hold because we need approval for a lot of the things that he wanted to do or they would like to do, and until further. So he will be coming, speaking at the next rec board meeting in December.
Okay.
And we can get this under the bud too for future developments, make sure they get a permit, still, I'm sorry, I should have been on top of that. I wasn't, but it's a learning process for them too, and for all of us. So that's a new development down there.
Yeah, thanks, Janet. I think that sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Dave
Second.
made a motion to adjourn. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Provenza. Are there any questions? No questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Have a
See
nice
everybody
night,
tomorrow.
folks. Dave, hope you feel better.
Good more.
Thank
Dave,
you.
take care. Hope you
Dave,
feel
have a
Hey,
better.
everybody.
Call me.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Bye-bye.